Hi everyone, welcome to DIY with Nancy. Hope you're all doing well. Christmas holidays are here. It's actually tomorrow, Christmas Eve, and I've been baking thousands of cookies in the last few weeks for charity events, friends, family, for us here at home. And today I'm going to bake the last cookie for this year, for the holiday season, and that is my soft gingerbread cookies. So I hope you stay with me to watch how to make my soft gingerbread cookies step by step.
Now for the first step, I have a piece of parchment paper which I'll be sifting all of the dry ingredients onto. I'm going to start off with 3 cups of all-purpose flour. To the flour, I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and here I have 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, let's drop that into the flour. All these great spices, the combination, it smells so amazing. Now I have all the dry ingredients together, and I'm simply going to sift it onto the parchment paper. Now that I have the dry ingredients all sifted, I'm going to set it aside for later on in the recipe. Let's move on to the mixer and mix together the balance of the ingredients. I have here 3/4 cups of brown sugar. To that, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. And next I have here half a cup of unsalted butter at room temperature. Very important that you make sure your butter is at room temperature. I'm placing the paddle attachment on for the mixing. I'm going to mix it for a good 45 seconds to a minute, and then I'll be back with my spatula because I'll be doing a lot of scraping of the bowl to make sure that the ingredients are well incorporated. So all you're doing is taking your spatula, and several times you'll be scraping the edges of the bowl and the bottom just to make sure that the butter is well mixed in with the sugar. I'm going to place the mixer on high speed and let it mix for an additional minute. After 1 minute of mixing, I'm going to turn off the mixer, get my best friend the spatula for this recipe, and again I'm going to scrape down the sides before I add my next ingredient. For the next ingredient, I'll be adding 2 large eggs, and I'll be adding 1 egg at a time. I just like to break the eggs into a separate bowl just to make sure I never get any shells into my recipe. So now I'm going to start off by placing the mixer on a medium speed and going to add the first egg. Place that into the mixer. And while the mixer's still going, and you can see it's creaming together nicely, I'm going to add the second egg. Once you add your eggs, you want to continue letting it mix for 2 minutes until it's light and fluffy. After 2 minutes, stop the mixer and you'll see you get a nice fluffy batter, almost like a caramel color, if you will. Look at that, beautiful. And of course, I'm going to now take my best friend, the spatula, scrape down the sides and the bottom, make sure that the ingredients are all incorporated. And now I'm ready to add the next ingredient. I'll be placing the mixer onto a medium speed and onto the next ingredient. 1/4 cup of pure fancy molasses, which is the pure juice of sugar cane that's been condensed. Now I'm going to make sure every last piece of the molasses liquid is in there. It's very sticky, so I'm really trying to make sure that all of the molasses is incorporated into the batter. Now I'll continue letting the molasses mix into the batter for an additional 30 seconds. Once again, I'm going to stop the mixer. Do you see the trend here? Very important you make sure that the batter and all the ingredients are well combined, so this spatula is really going to do the work for me. So again, I'm scraping down the edges, making sure that all the ingredients are well incorporated. Once you've scraped down the batter from the sides of the bowl, you want to place the mixer on high speed and mix for an additional 30 seconds. Okay, The batter looks nice and fluffy, beautiful caramel color, nice and thick. And at this point, I'm now ready to add the dry ingredients that I sifted earlier. I'm going to add that all into the mixing bowl. I wish you can smell the aroma of these spices. It smells so good. The ginger, the nutmeg, the cinnamon. Oh, smells amazing. Now I'm going to start off by placing it on a low speed. After 30 seconds of mixing, place it on high speed and let it mix for another minute. Okay, that's enough for the mixing. We have our cookie dough, and I'm going to show you what it looks like just so you see. Perfect. It's nice and thick, it's soft, and it's not even in the oven, and it smells so good. Let's go make our gingerbread cookies. On to the next step. I have a baking tray with parchment paper. I have the cookie dough, which looks and smells so good. Here it is. And I'll be using a scoop to scoop up the cookie dough and place it on a baking tray. Okay, let's scoop our cookie dough. I'm going to take the scoop up my cookie dough, just as I'm doing here, and I'm just going to simply drop it onto the baking tray. And I'm going to continue doing that, leaving each cookie 2 inches apart because they will expand in the oven. Next, once I've scooped all my cookies, I'm using a measuring cup, doesn't matter what size it is, to flatten the top of the gingerbread cookies. Now, so they don't stick to the bottom of the measuring cup, I've just rubbed some butter onto the bottom, and that way I can press on it and the cookie won't stick to the measuring cup. Now, you don't want to press too hard onto the cookie, you just want to gently press it so it can flatten the top of the cookie, just as I'm doing here. On to the last and final step. I have 1 cookie tray and then I have another one, so you just get over 2 dozen cookies. And for the last step, I have 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, which I'm simply just placing on the top of each cookie before I place it into the oven. The gingerbread cookies are ready to go into the oven. I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake them for 10 minutes. Set your timer for 10 minutes. You don't want to place them in the oven any longer than that. The gingerbread cookies are out of the oven. They're so hot right now, but the aroma in this kitchen is unbelievable. It smells like Christmas. Once the cookies are out of the oven, let them cool for about 10 minutes. The gingerbread cookie is so soft. It's so easy to break into. Look at that, how soft it is.
And that was my recipe for my soft gingerbread cookies. Now this recipe makes 24 to 26 cookies, and they're so soft, so yum. The kids and grandkids will absolutely love them. My kids are grown up and they love them. So I hope you all enjoyed the recipe today, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I want to wish all my friends here on YouTube a very Merry Christmas, happiness and health to everyone. And in Portuguese, I'd like to say, boas festas para meus amigos e amigas aqui no YouTube. Paz e saúde para tudo. Okay, so until next time, I'll see you on DIY with Nancy. Take care.